Hello, Ashley. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
How are you?
Yeah, all good, thank you. What about you?
Very good, thank you. It's still summer here, and I believe that it's quite hot where you are.
Very hot, yeah. In Dubai is where I am just now, and it's high summer, so the temperature's around 43, 44, and very humid.
40, and yeah, I was complaining at about 30 degrees. So, but
Yeah,
but
but
you,
we have here,
sorry.
so the AC here helps a lot.
That's just what I was about to say. Yes, it's when you notice the distinct lack of air conditioning in the UK. But anyway, thank you very much for taking the time to chat to me here. And I've got it. This is what I wanted to talk about, the book.
Yeah,
Congratulations. Well
thank
done.
you. Thank you very much. It's so nice to see it on the other side of the screen. It's not in my family or friends' hands. It's other people are starting to buy it now, so it's very exciting.
They certainly are. Well, I got this through Amazon, and I've got to say, genuinely, I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. It's something that I wished I'd had access to many, many years ago. So tell me, what was the inspiration behind this? Why did you write it?
I've been a teacher now for about 12 years and I've taught predominantly in Key Stage 1, so always younger children. And I always find that very often when you talk about how they feel or, they always just say happy or sad. So I wrote it because I feel that not just in education but in life, children need to be given the skills to be able to talk about how they feel. They need the space to be talking about how they feel, and also we have to support them with their emotional literacy. So the whole inspiration for the book was to almost use as a resource for parents and teachers and children together to use the story to talk about it, and then use that as the process to build well-being, but also really delve deep into what feelings and emotions are and why it's really important to talk about them with someone that you trust. So the whole inspiration was all the little children I've met over the years and help children that come into my class in the future, but talk about how they feel in a really authentic way with language that's meaningful to them.
That's fantastic. What a great inspiration and a great output from it. Now, how it says how do you pronounce it? The Emobeans?
Yeah, Emobeans. So, in phone and WhatsApp, you have emojis and there's emoticons. For me, it's the Emobeans. So, emotional
Ah,
beans. Mhm.
fantastic. Emobeans. I love that. And we also should mention the artist.
Yes.
Who's this?
So, this is Christian Gaxi. He's in Budapest. And I found him, came across online, but he is a very young artist and he's a phenomenal artist. So, he really understood the vision for the book.
Mhm.
What I said to him was a few ideas, but I said, whatever you see when you hear the story. And my main thing was, I want them to be charming. So they just charm you into the story. And he caught that essence so well. And I'll be forever thankful to him because he's just a really wonderful, wonderful.
Well, I thought they were fantastic, and when I read the words, it took me right back to a time when I was much younger, and there weren't as many words on the page, but somehow with less words, it was to me like poetry. You really paid attention to the sentences, and
Mhm.
the drawings or the paintings absolutely did not get in the way and added so much. And when the artist is faced with the words, there is the capacity for that to go wrong or to undercut what's being written. And I just think that he has done a great job in augmenting what you've written. Um, another question I've got for you is this: just thinking about the book, what would you say are the key messages? You've probably touched on a few already, but if you had to give people some messages to walk away with right now, what would they be that are contained here?
I think the main message of the book is to encourage children to talk about how they feel with people that they trust. But there's also kind of other elements that I would say are really important, as in, again, working with small children, and they often say happy and sad, but sometimes they'll use their own language. So if I ask a child to describe what does sad feel like, sometimes they'll say it's like a cloud, or my heart feels like sunshine. So it's the little bean in the book often talks about what the feelings are for them, you know, and how that manifests in the body. So I think one of the key things in the book is, even if a child's emotional literacy is still needing a lot of development, the language that they do use is also equally important. You know, if they describe calm as like a calm water, or anything that they use to talk about their feelings, is valuable, and it gives you an insight to what they're feeling. So the key messages would be: encourage children to use whatever language they can to describe how they feel, but also let them know it's okay, whatever feelings you're feeling, even angry. You know, we've all seen the 3-year-olds throw a tantrum, and that's fine. It's okay to feel that way, but then give them the space to talk about why. So those would be the main messages of the book. And
Thank you.
also,
Sorry, yeah.
grown-ups as well, I think, you know, I just want to add that sometimes grown-ups find it difficult to talk about how they feel. So it's important then, even between grown-ups and children, having a book like this where they can both begin to articulate and understand each other.
That's literally what I was about to say, is that I think it doesn't only apply to children. This language that maybe we aren't articulate enough at any age, and to begin to think about, okay, let me at least begin to describe what I'm feeling in my language. And of course, yes, for children, fantastic, but also for adults. And that's another interesting thought, that this could almost act as a bridge, not just one way, but two ways between the grown-up and the child as well, in terms of improving, enhancing that emotional literacy.
Yeah, exactly.
What then do you hope that people will do with this? I think you mentioned teachers and parents. If I ask you the question, what would be the ideal outcome for the use of this book for you?
The ideal outcome would be that it becomes a resource that lots of teachers and staff in schools are really familiar with, and it becomes one of those resources that is just a great starting point in any classroom and throughout the year, to build upon and talk about that emotional intelligence as well, to use it. From that book, I do actually plan to write a series of books based on positive psychology concepts. That's what I've just finished my master's in. And I like the characters to be the Emobeans. I want them to be a familiar friend to children. So every time they look at the book, they recognise the characters, and then they can begin to build their well-being journey on more concepts such as gratitude and character strengths, resilience. So if they know that the Emobeans are friends of theirs, they're more likely to then read the story and begin to learn more tools and concepts and ways to improve their emotional well-being overall. That would be
Fabulous.
the
And so the plans then include more books using these characters. Did you mention character strengths?
Yes, so the character strengths is something that I studied quite a lot within the master's degree. The character strengths, they say, are like the beating heart of positive psychology. So
Right.
there was a whole 3-year project about the character strengths that they categorised the language. And actually, I have a set of character strength cards that are now used in schools across Dubai, because it's so easy then to give children that language. And again, you know, there's definitely links between character strengths and then talking about their emotions and feelings, but there's just a starting point as well, before the cards even, would be a lovely story about the Emobeans and the character strengths and how they use them in their lives. So it's just a really gentle way to begin introducing science to children from a very young age. So there's lots that can be done. So hopefully the series of books will help children and their grown-ups start to learn about more things to do with their well-being.
That's great, and a good antidote as well to some of the, let's say, interesting stuff that's out there and available for kids to access. Some of it, I'll say it, is rubbish. So this is a nice antidote. Then what sort of lastly from me, and of course by all means add or ask whatever else you think that is useful to be put in at this point in time. But lastly from me, where can we get the book? How do people get the book?
So the book is available on Amazon, which is great. Amazon and the Book Depository and most online bookstores have it available as well. It'd also be a nice time to mention my website is www.mindfulmissgreen.com, and on there there's already free resources for teachers, and there's free guided meditations that parents can use. And eventually there's going to be more resources related to the Emobeans so that parents can also access them as well as teachers, and there'll just be some things that they can do, some more activities related to the book. So again, the children will be familiar with the characters and begin to include them on their well-being journey.
Oh, that's great. So give me that email address again.
So it's www.mindfulmissgreen.com.
Not email address, website. Yes, www.
Yeah, mindfulmissgreen.com.
Mindfulmissgreen.com. And we'll put that in the description as well to the video. Because that sounds like a really, really important set of resources, which you'll be adding to as you go along.
I'll be adding to them as I go along, and there is a lot on there already for teachers, like I say, but I do hope that parents will begin to find it useful. And also a lot of the children in my school, they now access the website independently and go to the guided meditations without an adult telling them, so that's nice.
No, that's fantastic. That is great. So they do that independently. Wow.
Yeah, they do. So when they feel like they need a mindful moment or they want to practice some meditation, they're very short, between 3 and 5 minutes. Children as young as year 2, so primary 1, primary 2, actually access them themselves and do some meditating, which is brilliant.
Oh, that is brilliant. Oh, thank you very much, Ashley, for your time. Anything else that you think that we need to add or that you want to say?
I think it's really lovely to be here and talk about these things on your podcast. So thank you for inviting me, because I do believe that the message is so important. When you think back to, when you're experiencing school yourself as a 6-year-old child, it does look very different from it does now. But I also think we've still got a long way to go in terms of mental health provision. Also, children, just because children aren't presenting as experiencing mental health issues doesn't mean that there isn't room for them to flourish. So the absence of mental illness doesn't constitute being well. There's also so much more room for adults as well, teachers as well, always room to improve and live your best life through flourishing. So I'd love to get in contact with any teachers or anyone that's interested to speak with me further about it. I'd be more than happy to chat with them about ideas and ways to promote mental well-being in schools.
Oh, thank you very much. And that's a really important set of messages. We'll make sure that all the relevant contact details are attached in the description to this video, this podcast. And yeah, you're absolutely right. There's still a long way to go, but it has improved greatly. Again, down to people like your good self. When I was 6 years old, well, things were in black and white then anyway, so it was very different. Or was it sepia? But anyway, Ashley, thank you very much for your time, and hopefully we'll catch up again soon.
That'd be great. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for doing this. Okay, bye for now. Bye-bye.